Hello everyone. Today we will review We Summon the Darkness. This movie just got onto Netflix, I believe maybe about a week ago or a few days ago anyway, or I just noticed it in the news, so I put it on just to see what, or put it on my list just to see what it was like, and now I'm doing a review of it. Anyway, this movie was absolutely fantastic. It's set in the 1980s, so during the whole cult metal scene where they believed that basically metalheads were creating or performing satanic rituals on people across the country and killing them. And it turns out in this movie that that's the exact opposite of what was happening. It was actually the religious groups that were basically framing the metalheads and making it look like they were the ones committing the murders, when really it was the religious people that were actually committing these crimes and in these cults, making it look like people could come and seek refuge with them, due to the fact that metal was Satan's music, and that obviously listening to this made you commit these horrendous crimes, including murder. So this movie starts out with three girls on a road trip. Alexis, was it Mel? Why can't I think of the other girl's name? Alexis, Val, Mel, and Beverly meet up with these three guys at a concert. Mark, Kovacs, and Ivan. Sorry, there's a lot of names in this movie. So they stop at this gas station because Val has a so-called weak bladder, I guess. So she has to pee frequently. It's probably due to the fact that she drinks so much in this movie, but anyhow, that's besides the point. Anyway, they stop at this gas station. There's this TV playing, which is kind of foreshadowing. This televangelist is saying about all these metalheads and how they can seek refuge there, cleanse their soul, sort of thing, going on in the TV when these girls are buying stuff in this convenience store that they stop at. Then they go to this metal show. They meet these guys, Mark, Kovacs, and Ivan. Anyway, these guys obviously are attracted to these girls, so they go back to her dad's house. And that's when things kind of slowly spiral out of control. Well, the plan seems to be going well in the very beginning. The girls drug the guys, they tie them to the chairs, they end up killing one of them, which was part of the plan anyway. All three of them were supposed to die. The one girl, Beverly, says that she wants to kill the other two, and that's when the other two break out of the chairs, and they're basically trapped in like this storage, like pantry closet for most of the movie, as the other two girls, Alexis and Val, try anyway to get them out, from using some sort of spray to like gas them so that they'll knock them out again, to using a lighter and some sort of aerosol to like basically burn them out of the room, I guess. Anyway, these guys start coming up with this plan as to how they're going to make it out. Kovacs is bleeding out because Val was able to slice an artery or something, I guess, when all the commotion was going on with them trying to escape from the house. Eventually, they kind of MacGyver their own, like, shanks, like, from broken glass bottles, because there was wine in the pantry cupboard that they were trapped in. So they try to make it out that way. At one point, Alexis's stepmom comes back into the house to grab her passport and her drugs, which I think she probably did most of them right in the house anyway before she is about to leave again. And this is when things get a little hairy because her mom hears a noise from the pantry, and then she is saying to Alexis, "You better tell me what's going on." Alexis starts to freak out, saying they're just having a slumber party, there's nothing to worry about, and then her mom goes into the room where they have all the satanic imagery up, and the one guy is dead. So then Alexis has to kill her stepmom, and then Val kind of goes all out of whack. By this time, Beverly's kind of decided that she definitely doesn't want to be a part of it. So she sees that Alexis's dad is the one who is basically brainwashing all of them from a young age to say that this is the right thing to do, that this is how people are going to find salvation, basically, but really he's just taking all the donations from all these people and using them himself, which I guess now we kind of know televangelists, that's what they do. They take advantage of people to use the money for themselves to live a lavish life, basically. And that's what he's doing in this movie. And on top of that, the televangelist that we see at the beginning of the movie, Johnny Knoxville's character, is Alexis' father. So he finally comes in, he kills Kovacs, because Kovacs comes out and says, "Help us, sir, please help us." He says, "I have a cell phone in my car, just give me the gun." And then we already know that Kovacs is going to die at that point when he hands him the gun. And then he goes, "I remember you, you're that pastor." And then he shoots Kovacs. Kovacs is able to crawl back into the house to alert Beverly of this. He goes upstairs to save his daughter, and then basically he is going to kill her himself anyway. Beverly then comes upstairs and knocks him out with this boat motor that she has that she's kind of trying to use as a weapon throughout the movie. That didn't really go so well because there's one scene where her and Val are fighting in the basement, and she ends up just having to light Val's hair on fire, and due to all the hairspray, obviously, she just went up into like a giant ball of flames. So that was an exciting scene. Like I said, this movie's quite chaotic after the stepmom part because, yeah, they just don't know what to do. The cop shows up at one point. Val kills the cop to take his gun. Then she shoots off a few bullets into the room to scare the boys that are in the pantry cupboard at this point in time. So basically, by the end of the movie, Mark, Kovacs, and Beverly have teamed up to kill Alexis and Val, which they are eventually successful in because during Beverly and Valerie's fight scene, Valerie is thrown out the window of the house, lands on the ground. You think she would be dead. So then Mark and Beverly at the end of the movie come out of the house. He's not sure he's going to make it. They both get in the Jeep. They're about to drive away. She's coming up the driveway, and then all of a sudden Valerie's standing right in front of her again, which I kind of had a feeling was going to happen when they zoomed back into the close to the front door of the house, and Valerie was laying there. I was kind of like, oh, she's not quite dead yet. She wouldn't have been very useful even if Beverly had have gotten out of the vehicle again to fight her, I think. But Beverly just runs her over with the Jeep, and then it shows the next, like the morning of, with the news reporters outside talking about this satanic cult that I guess was controlled by the pastor's daughter. So now the pastor makes it look like his daughter was led astray, even though he tried to help her, when really we all know that the pastor is actually the leader of the cult. So maybe they'll make a sequel to this movie. That would be interesting, I think. What else can I say about this film? Oh yeah, the ending scene was probably the goriest out of this movie because it just shows like the blood trail from where Alexis's body was dragged. And then she goes back to the store, and the news report is on. It's the same store as they were in at the beginning of the movie when they were going to the concert. Now, obviously, Beverly and Mark are leaving to go wherever, I'm not sure. I guess maybe that's kind of like an opening for a second movie, possibly. We'll see. It would be exciting for a sequel to this, I think. But we'll see how good it does, I guess, because I believe it's actually a Netflix film. Let me just check that. Is it just a Netflix film? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so maybe we will get a sequel to this. I'm not sure. This is the first time I'm hearing of it, so I'm not sure how good it did. I guess I'll go check that after, just to see. But anyhow, they get away. She tells the store owner not to believe everything he hears, even though obviously he's going to have his own belief system, right? So I would say this movie was definitely a 10 out of 10. It definitely hit all the story points that it needed to for like the religious groups and the metalheads, obviously, back in that time, because I know this was probably around the time when metal was really just coming into the scene, as opposed to like heavy metal, like the heavier like Iron Maiden, and you can see like Pink Floyd on some of their jackets, and like the anarchy symbols. So like yeah, the whole like satanic thing with metal was really just making its presence known at this time, this in this decade, I guess, in the 1980s. Yeah. Yeah. So really well done movie. 10 out of 10. I thought this was going to be more like a B-rated movie, but it ended up being actually quite a good film. So I would highly recommend, if you're into this kind of movie, definitely go see it. It wasn't really as horror based as I thought it was going to be, even though it says it's a horror movie. It was definitely more marked towards the thriller, I would say, because that's what it's marked down as. Netflix is thriller horror. So, I mean, it definitely did have some horror elements, but it never really made me jump scare. There was nothing like that in it, as far as I go. As far as I'm concerned, just because for most horror movies, if I want to go see a horror movie, it needs to make me jump at least once or twice, because otherwise it's not really scary. This movie was more based on the satanic ritual thing, I guess, so it wasn't quite as frightening. It was more just bloody than anything else, really. But yeah, definitely a good movie. There was something else I was going to say, but I lost my train of thought. I can't think of it now. Oh, Johnny Knoxville did a phenomenal job being the quote-unquote bad guy, I guess, in this movie. I wasn't sure how he was going to do in that role, because usually his roles are a little bit more towards the comedy side of things, at least what I've seen of Johnny Knoxville. Maybe he's done some more serious films, so I might have to go into his discography and check that out. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all I have to say about this movie. And please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts on this movie if you've even seen it yet. If not, maybe watch this review and then go see it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.